Teddy's a brand new 2021 horror comedy that is currently streaming on Shudder and comes to us from France. And Teddy is about a young man who seems to be on edge about a lot of things and wants to kind of start shit with everyone in his small little town. And he lives with family members who are either mentally ill or have, some serious handicaps. And he's also crazy in love with his girlfriend. But he's kind of a bit of a nuisance around town. And he ends up getting scratched by an unknown beast, which, I think by now you probably realize, if you've seen the poster or anything about it, it's a werewolf. And Teddy is having some, transformation issues throughout the film and dealing with his own emotions. And, when I went into this, I knew it was a horror comedy, but so I was expecting it to be more comedic. I definitely thought it was going to be more zany and silly and over the top and ridiculous and playful. And that's not really what's happening here. This film is actually a lot more tragic and dramatic than I would have expected. That's not to say it's not without its comedy, but it's not really a silly comedy at all. I don't find this movie to be slapsticky or anything like that, right? Teddy's dealing with a lot of like real angsty, young, almost teenage-like emotions. And he's supposed to be, I think, be in his early 20s. But he's dealing with what he's got going on at home. He's dealing with the fact that really no one in town likes him, probably because he acts like a shit. And he's trying to, keep his relationship with his girl going. And he has these big plans for the future with her. He wants to buy this big house and so they can both live in it. And, he goes out and picks out the plot of land and everything. Like, he's very dedicated to his girlfriend and also his family, that he you can see has kind of a good heart. And and he has this job where this woman is creepy and unprofessional, and he's just kind of trying to grapple with everything. He's really trying to figure out his place, but he is kind of a shit. Overall, I liked it. I liked it a good amount. I think that I had to kind of get on board with the tone because of preconceived notions that this was going to be some bombastic, silly, slapsticky kind of horror comedy. I got that from the poster. And it's really not. It's really not. So that, I think it just took me a minute to really kind of get in line with what the film actually was. And once I did, I was on board. And I like Teddy as a character. He's not a flawless character, right? He's troubled and he's flawed. And I liked that about him. And his relationship with his girlfriend is very relatable. I mean, young love like that is up, down, all over the place. And I did feel bad for him as he's going through this transformation, not really knowing what's happening and kind of losing self-control. And now, as far as the whole werewolf aspects of this goes, I don't want to get people's hopes up that there's going to be some big werewolf scene with tons of carnage and this and that. You're not going to really see much in that regard, which is a shame, but I think that's probably a budgetary thing, but it could be an artistic choice. This is what they wanted to show and how they wanted to show it. That's possible. It does feel lower budget, but not ultra low budget. But it really is just kind of almost like a coming of age story of this kid who's trying to find himself and where he fits, and is trying to navigate the future of overcoming what's going on at his house, and trying to set up this life for his girlfriend, who he seems to be more into than she's into him. But all of that feels very real. And I could relate to that stuff for sure because, you know, relationships at that time can be so dramatic. You don't really have anything to base it off of, and your hormones are racing out of control, and you don't have a lot of confidence, and it's a shaky, rocky time for all of us, and you know Teddy's no different, but he definitely tries to alienate himself by being completely dramatic about everything. His reactions to just people coming up and knocking on the window at his job, just stuff like that. I laughed out loud like every time because he's just so fucking ridiculous. He's so angsty, and he's so you know, upset about everything. But that's kind of true of kids like this. So it definitely felt truer than I was expecting it to. It was much more relatable, much more grounded. But that's a good thing. And, you know, it's a French film. I think I mentioned that. So it is subtitled. And with Shudder, there is no dubbed option. So you can't go down that road with this one. But I prefer watching it, even though it's, of course, distracting to read and look up and down, look up and down. Of course, I don't prefer it. If I could, I wish that every fucking movie was in a language I could understand. That'd be nice. But that's not it. That's not the way it is, and you're gonna miss something when you don't watch it and it's in an original language, because you know you're gonna lose that acting, you're gonna lose that emotion, you're gonna lose a lot of stuff out of it. So I would always prefer to keep it the way it's supposed to be seen. But anyways, have you guys checked this out? It's currently streaming on Shudder right now, and let me know if you watch it. All right, adios.